Okay, so let's see how different coins are doing. Swing coins are doing. We have 15 of them, starting with APT as usual in alphabetical order. Okay, so many attempts. Little bit of pushback, not a problem. It's not far, so we can say there's delay like this. Doesn't change anything, so there's delay. Right? Instead of going up from here, it might do from the next week. Um, so there's tolerance level. Unless it starts going down and consolidate here, there's no issue. Because BTC, I think BTC is holding up. This is not going against BTC. So we cannot expect anything better, right? So um, very few coin, there can be some fundamental changes. For an example, let's say XRP pump. Why? Because they won the case. So the pump was good for a day or two, right? So think about it. When there's some good news for any coin, there can be a pump. But you have to realize that after that pump is over, it normalizes, it averages out. It and then basically it starts following BTC. You will notice it. I'm just giving you my experience, sharing my experience. So they no coins are decoupled from BTC in the present days. No coin. Okay. Some coins would move up faster for some days. That's fine. On different events like XRP event I mentioned, sometime Solcoin had, let's say, some release which was like bridge for ERC token or something like that, or some other coin has some fundamental release, some progress. So there can be a pump for some time and so on. So depends on the size of the event. There can be pump for days or two, but ultimately they are not going to decouple. Okay, they will decouple in the future when they'll start in real world use. Then they'll decouple and they'll act like standalone asset or security. Security in terms of not SEC definition. Point is asset. Okay, let me stick to asset. Otherwise, you get confused. Security and non-security. So this, like, each coin is an asset. So they'll decouple only when they start in the real use. When you will say, okay, I want some files to, like, physical files to be stored in some cloud, and what should I use? What service should I use? Oh, I should use Filecoin. So you pay USD or whatever local currency and then say, I want Filecoin because I want to use that service. That's where the Filecoin will be in use in real world. So they started using it. Some projects started using it. Like, it's not just about Filecoin, but we know that Ethereum is always in use for the gas, right? And some other coins are already in use for some small things, but nothing big, like commercially, nothing very big, right? It's right. So some coins are ahead in the game, like Solcoin, like a lot of NFTs and all other stuff. So some coins are, but still, this is crypto ecosystem. You have to remember. What I'm saying is, when your uncle and aunts or mom or dad start using it, that's what I mean. Okay, the non-crypto folks, basically, when they start using it, then that's called real world use. So when that thing happened, I think that's where decoupling will happen, because then the valuation will be driven by the real demand. Right now, the valuation is driven by the exchange specific demand. So the demand on the exchange, that could be totally speculative, that could be totally fake, that could be totally temporary. So we don't know. We would never know that, right? Because the exchange might be pumping, or some big holders are pumping or dumping. We would not know. So that's not real demand. So whatever market cap you see right now, to me, is dummy, is not real, because there's no commercial use of this one, not a big one, right? So I don't consider this market cap in a true sense, personally speaking, and the reason I gave, right? When our family starts using this coin in real world, that's where I would say that makes, and then I think I have a very different point of view. I would say, which coin is transacted in USD, right? That is like which one is most, uh, which coin is more highest in demand in terms of USD transaction or your local currency. But basically, that's what that will determine the real. So if say, okay, today coin X had $5 billion of transaction, coin Y had $10 billion of transaction, I would compare that one, not the market cap, because market cap will, of course, important, but that will be the real measure. So when it starts decoupling, ultimately number of transactions, because what is important is that will tell us that how much USD or fiat currency is being transferred or transferred or transformed or converted, I would say converted into crypto. That will be the real measure. So that's my that's my understanding, and I believe in that. So at this moment, it's just everything is speculated. Right? So what I was trying to say is that some coins might pump, but don't assume that they're going to decouple from BTC because there's no evidence yet. Right? So they'll average out eventually. So APT, as I explained, we have to wait and watch for it to break up support A. Let's look at Atom. The same story. It went down. Okay, fine. This is delayed. It went down, but not really broken. 8.7, right? So which is fine. AVAX, okay, AVAX tried hard, fine. Retrace, fine. Is it here? No. Where it's here, good. So AVAX is good. Maybe we have to shift it. Why? Nothing wrong. BNB, now BNB is doing nothing. Okay, fine. Is it breaking down? No. So that's positive. Delay, yes, everything is delayed. So nothing new about it. Doge is in momentum, not momentum. Now, this momentum could be based on speculation that tomorrow X Corp, which is Twitter, might announce that Dogecoin is the currency for the new payment or new commerce that they're likely to launch. Because you know that Twitter is now transforming into X Corp. I mean, change to X Corp, and X Corp is like shop for everything, not just for social media, but buying stuff and doing payments and other stuff. So he's trying to do everything on Twitter platform, X platform, right? So there will be currency. Now, interestingly speaking, of course, there's going to be fiat currency, but the speculation is what currency he will choose if he has to choose crypto, and the probability of Doge is high. This is what I'm saying. So we didn't remove Doge because as long as Elon is there, we cannot remove it because, and he's the only savior of Dogecoin. What I'm saying, savior means he's the only promoter of Dogecoin in true sense. Like when we talk about big names, when we talk about BTC, there are so many big names, right? But when we talk about Doge, he's the only one. Right? There can be some small players, but from a big player point of view, he's the only one. So we have to, I mean, for this particular point of view, it's speculation. And definitely this price action is also based speculative in nature because it's not that Doge has released something and it is now improving. It is like, as you know, that if something is cooking up, then people would start taking action. So, and I always mention that the chart announces first before the real announcement happen. Okay. So I mentioned 2 weeks ago, not just last week, but 2 weeks ago that, hey, there is a momentum in Dogecoin because I sense it from the chart. And now we can see that from it was here, now it is here. Now, if you're ignoring it, it's a choice. Right? And again, so there is something happening and there's no announcement. So, and Elon tweeted last night, yesterday, in fact, and so there's something big is going to come. We don't know. Well, I think Milo and I were talking about something, and he pointed out that his location on his profile, there's a D sign of Doge sign, which I posted on Chatter. If you look at Elon's profile page, location based. He has XD, and a D is not just ordinary D, but it's like a Dogecoin's D. So he's crazy guy. I mean, positively speaking, um, constructively, but crazy in a sense, unpredictable. But so he gives some clue like that. We had to take it. So that's definitely a clue. But we'll have to wait for the announcement. But there's probability that he would support Doge when he is open enough for his support for Doge. So there's nothing wrong about assuming, right? Um, there's nothing wrong about it. But we have to understand the key levels, risk level, everything that is there always. But there is evidence that it is picking up some momentum. And this has to be tracked on 1 week only, because then only we will realize, if you look at one day, it's going to be noisy. You cannot track it on 1 week. It has to be a higher time frame than one. It could be 3 day, 4 day, whatever, but it should be higher than one day. Okay, so clearly this good sign. Yeah, so this is our path. So it's sticking to the path, which is good. In this case, we don't have to adjust. EGLD, it touched, not broken, touched, so delay, further delay. If it breaks and closes below, then we can say, then probably longer wait time. Again, it will not crash because it has more tolerance. But yeah, um, at this moment, it's not getting any momentum for sure, right? So maybe in coming weeks. Ethereum, you look at ETH, is sticking to the breakout level. This is consolidation in a positive manner. This is so positive, right? All these are like inside bar in a way, not in the true sense, but all these are small ones, which are like which are holding up, and this is like very close to the breakout level. That is positive, and it's a big ascending triangle. If you consider the upper boundary, orange one, and this white line, it's ascending triangle. Look at that, upper edge. This is like breakout level, and this is the support along the way, right? This is running support. So now it has covered 80%, 80% plus um, of the triangle. So it has to go up. So I don't mind putting an arrow. Why the hell I don't have the arrow? I don't know. Why is my arrow? Hmm, this is what I observed. Somehow I lost arrow on this profile. I don't know how it disappeared. I have to ask them. You won't believe it is gone. I don't know why. Wow, it's gone. Anyways, I can use this arrow for me like this. Boom, something like this. Yeah. In fact, this is much better. But yeah, I don't know why I lost it. Anyway, so this is Ethereum. Like it's about it's just matter of time. It's just matter of time. FET, okay, it's still around A, around A, wrapping around A. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's still in this range. If you look at this low, it's still in the range. Not a big problem. It's like 5 point. 5 point is also sticking to this one. It's not losing. So this projection has it's still valid. Why not? It has come down a bit, but it doesn't change anything. Remember, it doesn't change anything. You see, the shape is not, this particular zone is not changed. So it could start. So it's delayed by a week or two in a way. That's how it is. Nothing fundamentally changed. The pattern hasn't been changed. This inverted head and shoulder doesn't, it hasn't, isn't So when it invalidated, if it closes below A, then you can say this whole entire pattern that we are expecting to realize will go away, and then something new will emerge. At this moment, this is very well implemented. Matic has gone down, but not really below A, which is fine. Okay, so this is okay. And this is the broadening pattern that I was talking about when I was explaining BTC. This is the weekly pattern. You see how broadening pattern on a weekly basis? This is the same thing on BTC, but on 1 week. Oh, sorry, on 1 day time frame. You see, you will see when you change the time frame, the pattern changes. When the pattern changes, the boundary changes. And the boundary is nothing but support and resistance. The key thing is which pattern is in play is the key thing. Okay, there can be multiple patterns. On the same chart, you can actually end up with multiple patterns. So what is the real pattern is something that will matter. In fact, that will determine the quality of TA. Because the same chart can be made bullish and bearish. I'm telling you. I can draw something and make the same chart bearish. And I'll be able to convince you. So so it's not about my bias. It's about what method to be used when. R&D is very close to this. This is still fine. It's still consolidation, a little bit drag. It's dragging, but not really collapsing or breaking down. It is not crash kind of a scenario. It's not like this candle. It's just melting, right? So this is okay as far as it's above S2. I don't mind. So this is very still good. And let me tell you, whatever I'm saying is all depends on BTC. Right now, there's no coin going against BTC in a true sense. Okay, the reflection can be different. Like if BTC moves up, let's say by 0.5%, some coin could move up by 2% or 4%. So the percentage movement could be different, but fundamentally, they're not going to go against. Okay, same coin is trying hard, so I don't mind bringing this down. Yeah, so we had to wait for this to be broken above and then see. So SOL, SOL, see it retrace, but it's not even, if it breaks below orange line closes, then only it's a point of concern that then we can say this particular breakout failed. This is just a ordinary throwback, right? When it breaks above, it throw back. Sometime it goes all the way down. Sometimes it retraces a bit. That's it. I mean, this is very typical behavior. It wouldn't worry me at all. Okay, so this is still fine. So doesn't change anything. Main thing is this structure that you see. This is breakout. This is actually inverted head and shoulder, not in a. This is a deformed worm. It's not a perfect one, but some kind of a symmetrical structure, I would say. Saying this is head and shoulder is wrong, to be honest, but we can say distant cousin of head and shoulder. I don't want to say head and shoulder because it's not. It's a distant cousin of head and shoulder. There's no name, but it looks like similar. Okay, it's like if head and shoulder is like human, then this is more like a similar structure, not exactly the same. Okay, so it got the breakout and then consolidating and so on. This is totally fine. This is absolutely fine. So this is a coin has some energy. Remember, XRP it retraced and now as I see this is support and this is bouncing and recovering. Remember this pump, you're not its average is out, right? It was ahead, accelerated, then now decelerating by consolidating. Remember, decelerating doesn't mean it reverses. Sometimes it stays there in a range. So this is upper range, down range, and then it stays there, and then makes another move on the upside. So there's sometimes when pumps people get, they freak out as if it's going to the moon overnight. It doesn't happen because there's good news. People are so desperate about for last 2 3 years. So not naturally there was enthusiasm, exuberance. So naturally the money goes in, and people keep buying, and that happens for a day or two, whatever. But then that gets over. The you know parties that overnight, like the year-end party, people drink, and then next day, and some hangover, and then back to the normal life, and so on. So like that, this is like just celebration, exuberation, and then it's now back to normal. So that's it. So I think we got all the points, and it's all essential point that I had in mind. I would say everything is good. Everything is good. So BTC has to do what I explained in BTC. That's it. If BTC is good, everything is good. And yeah, so there is no negative effect on BTC from the Fed's decision last week, which is good thing. So as I mentioned in the first session, there are a lot of goodies if you appreciate it, right? And you should appreciate all those good things, and develop some kind of patience. And as I always mention, that patience is not something you can learn or cultivate it. I mean, it's something comes by its own. It's a byproduct of understanding. Unless you understand, it's not going to happen. So my whole effort is to share what I analyzed and what I believe in, right? Based on the data, not based on what I believe is right. And my attempt is to explain through technical analysis with some evidence. So that's an attempt. Okay. I believe I covered everything. So we're good for this month. And let's see next week. Let's hope that new money comes in, and then what Nasdaq enjoy, BTC enjoys the same way. I mean, BTC pumps the same way, and we all then celebrate even further. With that note, I'll end the session and look for the good week next week. Bye, everyone. Thank you.